This is the Eastern Orthodox Church. When we first entered it, this was what we saw. Each window was an immaculate mosaic of art. The front wall was so detailed it was hard to take it all in at once. We had no idea a building like this existed in Bakersfield. We are happy to report that we were greeted with such kindness and open arms by the priest and his son Sabas. They were happy to engage with us and to clarify any burning questions we had. We learned that the Eastern Orthodox Church and the Catholic Church were one and split at some point due to some differences long ago. We really enjoyed our visit. We hope you enjoy our presentation.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'll be talking to you about minimization. Caption. I'm standing in front of the Greek Orthodox Church, the church that we had visited for our culture concept, and how minimization played an important part in the overall experience when we had met with the priest. Now, minimization is the process of seeing past differences, the idea of that we are all human and more towards acceptance. What being a Catholic, when visiting another church, a Christian church at that, it was more differences in ideology, and that I was afraid was going to cause a bit of not so much tension but misunderstanding on my part. However, the priest didn't speak to me as though I was someone different or someone that was challenging his ideals. More so, he treated me as though I was, even a member of the church almost, someone who wanted to learn, and it didn't seem like he saw me any different than he would if someone from his own church had come to visit him. So that made the transition from being comfortable and asking the questions that I needed to know and really understanding on a personal level the concepts of the church much easier to digest. And in essence, minimization plays an important role in the church because they don't discriminate against race, creed, or prior religion. From what I found, they will treat you the same as they would anyone else, or even from their own church, which is very important because of their ideals of forgiveness and wanting to include as many people from around the world into their church. So that's how the aspect of minimization played into my understanding of what the priest had said. Another concept that is important to understand when visiting this church is adaptation. The process of meeting them halfway, meeting them halfway. I got into the mental state of I know that there's going to be differences in our opinions of certain topics, particularly on purgatory. As in a Catholic point of view, purgatory is a place where you go after you die to atone for your sins. In the Greek Orthodox Church, they don't believe that. They believe that there is no purgatory, that instead, after death, you go to more of like, for lack of better words, a waiting room, where you can only wait for your judgment day rather than atone for your sins. And to a lot of Catholics, this would be upsetting to many Catholics. However, getting to the mindset of adaptation, knowing that there are going to be differences, and being more open-minded about it, made understanding why they don't believe in purgatory easier to take in, and overall enhanced my understanding of the church exponentially. If I could redo the experience, honestly, I don't think I would redo it because it was a phenomenal experience. I loved it. It was absolutely amazing meeting him and talking to him about ideas that are different than my own, and really connecting with him on that level, because obviously as a Catholic those views are important to me, but it was also amazing hearing about other views. So what I would say though is, when I come back, because I would love to meet with him again, I think I'd like to attend a mass first, and get a feel of how church is held, and in comparison to my own church, and then go with him with more questions. That way I have an understanding of not just what they believe in, but how they practice it. So that was my experience, and thank you.
Hi, my name is Adriana, and I'm going to be discussing the concepts high context communication and paralanguage and how related to my visit at the Greek Orthodox Church. And I'm going to talk about what I would do if I were to redo this experience over again. High context communication is when there isn't a lot of explanation needed, nonverbal or verbal. People in the community already know through tradition or history or a strong relationship. When our group entered the church, the priest told us that what the community does is they immediately kneel down and they say a prayer for the saints. No one tells them this. It is already done. Everyone in the community knows to do this. When they do the sign of the cross, it's not like Catholicism where it's like this. They do this. No one has to tell them, that's just how they do it. And if someone else from another church came in and did it the Catholic way, they would know, oh, they're not from this faith. Paralanguage, I've learned, is very important, was when our group talked to the priest. Paralanguage is the pitch, the tone, the variety, the style of the way the person speaking is communicating. When the priest was speaking to us, he was very calm, soft-spoken, articulate. He spoke very slowly because he wanted to make sure we heard every word he was saying, because every word was important when he was discussing his faith and the Bible and the church. If I were to redo this experience over again, when I came, I already had a set of questions. I was totally prepared, but when we walked in, cat got my tongue and I was immediately intimidated, which is really silly now because when I met them, they were so nice and caring with our group. So if I were to do it over again, I think I would give myself some sort of mental exercise and calm down, and the experience would have probably been a lot better instead of me shaking like crazy. Thank you.
My name is David Martinez, and my concept this semester was polychronicism. And what polychronicism is not focusing on time and believing that time is circular. So there would be a beginning but no end. And polychronicism also involves not doing one thing at a time and instead doing multiple things at a certain time, kind of like multitasking. The way that polychronicism is involved with the Greek Orthodox religion is that in the Greek Orthodox religion, after you've died, you go to heaven. So you have a beginning, but there's no end when you go to heaven or when you go to hell. And with polychronicism, there isn't a belief of an end. Time is circular, time is always going. And that's how it relates to polychronicism. Another concept that relates to the Greek Orthodox Church is benevolence, or the act of being kind, or an inclination towards kindness. And churches in general, they tend to be kind, and especially the Greek Orthodox Church, when we went to go visit it, its members were very accepting and they were really nice to me. And if there was something that I would do different, I think I would talk to the priest himself. Because when I went to visit the church individually, I only talked to one of its members, and I didn't get the chance to talk to the priest. And I think talking to the priest would be very important because it would give me insight on how the Greek Orthodox Church works and why it works and why it's worked for so long. So that's something I would do different.
Hi everyone, I'm Daniela and I'm talking about eye contact. That is my concept for this class. And eye contact essentially is when two individuals' gazes meet. The way that eye contact as a concept relates to the Eastern Orthodox religion is that in this religion it is customary that the pews are aligned parallel, facing towards the front of the altar. And mostly, well, in this church specifically, it's okay to have mixed females and males in the pews, and they have children, so they're taking care of each other. So it is ideal that their attention is and their eye contact is directed completely to the priest up front, who is giving the sermon or the lesson of the day. But in monasteries for this religion, it is most common that males sit on one side and females sit on the other side. and their eye contact is completely towards the front, focused in their prayer or their lesson. Another concept that relates to the Eastern Orthodox religion is low context communication. This religion has both low and high context communication, but I'm going to talk about the low specifically. And low context communication in this religion is very evident in the visit that we had with the priest, because he was very, very concise in what he told us, and he took 2 hours to give us the information on simply just how or why Jesus was crucified. This was a very interesting experience for all of us, and we didn't expect it would take this long, but we were very happy that he took the time to really explain it to us. And in their sermons, they are very sure to be very clear and have every detail in there, because their lessons are very important to them. If I were to redo this visit to the Eastern Orthodox Church, I would probably make sure that I speak to more people or members of the church before I went directly to the priest. I didn't know what to expect or how he would be, but he was very, very nice, and I enjoyed talking to him, but he did take a lot of our time, and so we probably could have had a better understanding of what to expect with him if we had spoken to more people from the church and how things were run in their church.
To best sum up our experience of visiting the Eastern Orthodox Church, we show you footage of the outside gate. It is very big and intimidating, and the outside colors are quite dull and plain. This symbolizes how little we knew about the new religion and how intimidated we were by it to begin with. The inside, as we mentioned before, is colorful and inviting, which symbolizes how once we took the time to learn about this faith, the less intimidating it seemed, which reminded us that we must learn about other cultures and religions before we can form developed, educated opinions. We really enjoyed getting to know the priest and his son and interacting with them and asking them questions. We hope you enjoyed our presentation. Thank you.